Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
TRE in the afternoon. Presented by Hannah Murray.
Good afternoon. It's just coming up to 5:10. You are listening to Men Talk. With me in the studio today is Fraser Sharp, Mark Wilkins and Andreas Gallardo. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You can speak. Thank you.
We're just testing for volume.
Okay, marvellous.
Suddenly gone shy.
I know, we've all gone shy. This has never happened before. If you are listening at home and you'd like to join in, you can. Here's how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
What a beautiful day. It's a wonderful life.
Now, I like to start with food, and I saw this article and I didn't really get what the big deal is. They're talking about Pret a Manger making bigger salads with charred grilled chickpeas, quinoa, hand-massaged kale, which I thought was quite an odd way of describing it. But they've got like butternut squash, salmon or chicken, but they're like really massive pieces, big salads, and they're up to £13, and people are saying that's quite a lot of money. And I thought, we pay more than that in Marbella, don't we, really, for a salad?
Do you know what's extraordinary about Pret a Manger is that the last place that you are at Gatwick Airport and the first place you arrive to Malaga Airport, there is a Pret a Manger now as you leave to go to get your car back from the car park.
Okay.
And I don't know what the products they're serving there, and it might actually be delicious salads, but can it be as expensive as it can be in the UK? Because 13 quid for a salad is a bit chunky. And also, I don't know what it is about salads, is that you kind of feel a bit cheated because a lettuce leaf is a lettuce leaf is pretty much a lettuce leaf.
Unless it's been hand massaged.
Unless it's been hand... That has to be said, because it may be a bit bigger.
Yeah, and happy.
It's a happy lettuce.
The smile on that lettuce's face.
Exactly.
You could say a pizza has been hand massaged, can't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it is then.
It's usually got a thumbprint in there somewhere.
Yeah. But, I mean, I get what you're saying about lettuce, but it's what else goes into it. This is a picture, it's got like a massive chunk of salmon, and salmon's quite an expensive fish, so I don't think 13 quid is a lot of money for a salad with a big bit of...
That's a fair point. I don't know whether... You've noticed that in the supermarkets that we all seem to go to, there's an awful lot of salmon, and that's because it's all farmed.
I know, we don't buy it anymore.
No, to be honest, I'm a bit worried.
You can't catch it in Spain, we were told.
No.
Can you?
No.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, no, because in all the supermarkets, unless it's frozen, fresh salmon is always farmed. And we asked a guy in the market in Malaga why nowhere does line-caught salmon, and he said you can't get it in Spain.
But most of the fish is farmed these days. You can't have wild fish that, the sea bass, for instance, I would say 90% of the sea bass out there in supermarkets or restaurants, they are farmed. So it's the same with cows. You farm the cows and you don't get wild.
Yeah, the problem with, as I understand it, the problem with the salmon is that they have when they're all kept together and they're fed in with proteins and all the rest of it, they have blights, they have problems with, generally. Having said that, I wonder if you go around the municipal market in Marbella, which I love.
This is where we asked the guy about it. Yeah.
But you look at all those fish stalls. Is all that? That's not caught from the sea. Surely it's caught from the sea. Isn't it?
It's caught from the sea, but they are farmed.
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
The salmon is all farmed, but a lot of the white
and
fish.
And the trout is also all farmed as well.
Yeah.
But there is a big difference in price between the wild fish and the farmed fish.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it's theoretically better for you because when it's been farmed, it's likely been pumped full of antibiotics and things, and you can see in the colour of it, so that there are negatives. That's
the same logic as buying a piece of grass-raised steak that's going to be €60 a kilo. Is that you're getting a better product, and having to pay more for it, and that's probably how we should be all going forward. Is that price shouldn't be the driver, but
The quality.
Searching for a better product and having it less frequently is probably the answer.
Definitely. We try and do that, but you can't do it when you're going out for dinner because you have absolutely no idea where they've got it from.
That's true.
Yeah, but if you're a family of 4 in 2 minimum wages, you're gonna have to.
Absolutely.
You won't be able to go for certain things. You know.
Yeah.
So
I remember Hugh Fernley Whitting Stall years ago did this program on TV talking about trying to have buying better quality meat and things like that, and that was definitely something that came up. A lot of families were saying, well, we can't afford to, we'd love to buy organic, we'd love to buy better quality meat, but we can't afford to. And one of the things he said was about instead of buying fillets of chicken from a supermarket, buy a whole chicken, and then you can make it last over a few nights, and you can have the bones and make a broth and a chicken soup and all that kind of stuff, so you can make it go further as opposed to just buying the chicken fillets, for example. So there were different kind of tricks of the trade.
That's very interesting.
That you could do. There was a piece talking about Martina Navratilova, the undisputed Wimbledon champion of champions, who wasn't allowed into a very nice restaurant with her dog. She had a dachshund in her handbag, and they said no, it's a no pet policy, so they wouldn't let her in. Do any of you have dogs?
Yes.
No.
So I wondered what your thoughts were as dog owners or non-dog owners on dogs in restaurants.
It's completely inappropriate. I have 2 spaniels and a Spanish street dog, and they are...
What is a Spanish street dog?
It's a part bodeguero.
Does that help?
Is that? Yes.
No, not really. No idea. But I've never heard of a Spanish street dog.
Anyway, that's what
Spanish commands.
My friend Antonio could be described as a Spanish street dog.
I'm happy to say Antonio doesn't live with us. but the idea of taking my dogs to a restaurant, it's just ridiculous. The idea of putting a dog in a bag.
Yeah, I think that
is
actually
ridiculous.
there's a good case to be made for making that a criminal offence.
There is.
A dog in a handbag.
But what about outside? We have a lot of terraces. Does that make a difference?
That makes a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some quite interesting rules now about what if you go to the vegetable shop in San Pedro, for example, you are in theory allowed to take your dog in with you because you can't tie a dog up outside under some new legislation.
Can you not? I see dogs tied up all the time.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
In your head, or do you see?
No, I'm sure people, or maybe I don't know.
Let's to the point of dogs in restaurants. I don't think it's appropriate for 2 reasons. One is hygiene, and the second one is respect to the other people who are there who don't have dogs, or maybe don't like them, or maybe they're allergic and so on. So those are 2 good reasons not to have dogs in a restaurant. In a terrace, it's a little bit like the smoking thing, where
definitely.
you're allowed to smoke in the terrace, but you're still bothering people on the table next to you.
So your dog's allowed to smoke on the terrace as well.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's more acceptable to have a dog in a terrace, but at the same time, it's the same nuisance that you would have it inside. And
also, it's really normal for dogs to just lift their leg up and have a pee on the side of a table or on the side of a chair on the terrace. I've seen it loads of times, and the owners generally don't care.
I think it depends on the dog, doesn't it? I mean, I could take my dog to a terrace and it wouldn't pee on the table.
Okay.
And it's kind of like taking your kids to a restaurant. If your kids are going to be rowdy and boisterous, maybe they shouldn't go either.
Yeah, no, fair point.
Yeah, that's a good point. No children either. No dogs, no children.
A very quiet terrace, isn't it? I think the other thing about, particularly in Spain for some reason, is that there is quite a suspicion about dogs. We occasionally, if you're walking...
Well, I'm suspicious of Antonio, that's for sure.
But if you're walking along the Paseo in San Pedro and you've got your dogs with you, some particularly older people will really avoid you. They will move over to not be in contact with your dogs. Perhaps because traditionally were dogs a carrier for disease, or
no? I don't. There are people who are generally scared of dogs and they don't like it.
That's true.
Some people have phobias with birds, for instance. I've got a friend who's absolutely scared of birds, and then sometimes you go to places and there's little birds jumping on the table to get your peanuts or whatever, and she freaks out,
That must be really inconvenient. I mean, that could happen at any time, like a bird.
Yeah, exactly. It is inconvenient, but it's a phobia. I think with the people who, run away from the dogs, is probably something like that. There is no tradition to be scared of dogs in Spain.
No. I think it's that. I mean, I don't know what your dogs look like, how big they are, or whatever.
Got pictures. Do you want to
see? In the ad break. But I suppose if people aren't particularly dog people, or maybe they've had a bad experience with the dog, they might be nervous that the dog might jump up at them or bite them even, or whatever. So they might just walk away.
Well, the Spaniels will jump up at you, definitely, right? Because they're dead friendly.
Yeah, but it's a different experience. You see dog people walking towards dogs on the Paseo. Oh, hello, and go, you see that all the time.
Well, dogs actually, they communicate with each other. The dogs like that society. They like mixing with other dogs. I mean, it's not all about smelling, but some of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's very easy to...
But there's a little bit more, isn't there, about Martina Navratilova and her taking her dog to a particular... Well, it's in the sense that she's... And it's a word I think we're all using quite a lot at the moment. It's entitled, because of her fame, because of her abilities in holding a tennis racket and hitting a ball. She's presuming that she is in some way distant or above everybody else, and therefore she can conduct herself in a particular way.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not right.
No, because mainly from the point of view, if she's there with her dog, another person will come along with their dog and go, "Oh, we can bring dogs in," and then you've got a problem.
You've got a problem. Yeah, and also I think it's right for the restaurant, the Ivy it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That they enforce the policy. Even to Martina Navratilova, it could have been easier for someone to say, "Oh no, I don't want to say no to her," but it's good to say, "Look, it's not for you and it's not for everybody," which is
almost certainly some local health ordinance that says dogs cannot be in restaurants, and all they're doing is complying with that. And the Daily Mail picks the story up.
Yeah. Okay, apparently we really do like to be beside the seaside. The seaside and places by the water evoke the greatest sense of nostalgia compared to other landscapes. Researchers from Cambridge University asked 200 people to identify places they felt most nostalgic for, with the sea, lakes or rivers looked on more fondly than fields, forests and mountains. Would you agree? Can you relate?
There's a beautiful picture. There's a Facebook group called London Photos, and there's a picture, I think it was yesterday, of this little boy sitting on his suitcase in a scene of black and white London from the 1960s. And it's this little boy, he's going to go on holiday, and it's raining. You see his bucket of spade, you see he's sitting on his suitcase, and you can see this forlorn look in this little lad's eyes. And it's like, we don't all necessarily have those sepia views of years gone by, but I think we all, as kids, whenever we kind of went for a day out, we went for a holiday, we would tend to go to the beach, and therefore invoking that memory is quite a nice...
Yeah.
Even though we were probably freezing cold, getting rained on.
There is that.
Dropping a Mr. Whippy and crying about it.
Yeah.
But summers were shorter and...
But there's something about water that in real estate they say that water sells. So when you sell property, you tend to, if you have the possibility of catching either a view that shows water, either a swimming pool or the sea or a river or a lake or anything, you include it as your main picture because water sells. So there is something in it that makes you, attracted to it.
I do find that funny when I watch A Place in the Sun, because you see them taking the clients to some property and say, and you've got the sea view over there, and the camera pans around, the sea's like 2 miles away. Think, oh yeah.
Yeah, but you see water. But I mean, it happens with whether it's a river or swimming pools. It is a concept that water sells, but I think it's because of that impression that gives you of. What did the article say?
Well, it's nostalgia, isn't it?
Nostalgia.
It connects you to that. Yeah, it's the same thing. Oh, water, sea.
But have you noticed when you're swimming in a pool that there's very much a calming effect of that, and I can't help but think that that's probably amniotic fluid historically, and us in utero, and you know the memory of that calmness is really, and maybe that's why the water sells.
This got deep.
Yes, didn't it? We better take a break.
Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Men Talk. With me in the studio today is Fraser Sharp, Mark Wilkins and Andreas Gallardo. There is an article about happiness. It's often said that happiness is finding joy in the little things in life. And now scientists appear to have found the proof. Taking just 5 minutes a day to perform micro acts of joy is enough to banish stress, boost health and improve sleep quality. They found that listening to laughter, admiring a flower or doing a nice thing for a friend can measurably improve a person's well-being and attitude towards life. Make sense?
Makes sense, but you can't help but feel that doing a lot of things that make you happy would make you even happier.
Yeah.
So
do more
instead
of just a couple.
If you're really into flowers, look at a lot of flowers and be really happy.
Go to a meadow.
Yeah.
But then isn't there a sort of pressure to kind of overperform? Is that in the sense that
I must enjoy this moment.
Enjoy all these flowers. Look, there are loads of them. And they talk about experiences. I think probably we'd all accept that the doing of an experience and the remembering of an experience is kind of more powerful most often than holidays or whatever. And whether that's going to see somebody live in a concert or going on a zip wire somewhere. I mean, those are they're
experience.
They fill the what's the word?
Gap.
It's not really the gap. It's more. They top up your joy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess the word. That's the game. Guess the word. Look, the way I describe happiness is that's my artistic side here, Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like holding water in a river with your hands. That is there for a little while, but invariably is going to disappear from it until you can gather more water in your hands and disappears again. So that bit of water in your hands is happiness, and you hold it there for a short period of time, and then it will disappear until you do it again.
That's a really very interesting philosophy, because actually what you're saying is if you had joy the whole time, you would lose the existence of joy.
Yes,
correct.
Absolutely. You need to have the bad times in order to appreciate the good times and all that kind of stuff.
I think that's a really interesting metaphor.
Yeah. I think it's just saying appreciate things. And, every time I walk along the Paseo or go for lunch on the Paseo, I literally, if I'm on my own, I'll say it to myself, or if I'm with someone else, I'll go, look at where we live. We walked here from our house. And isn't this lovely? And, all these people have paid loads of money to come here on holiday, but this is our home. I say that all the time.
God, aren't we smug?
No, but it is just appreciating. You could say, it's nice to be able to feel that about where you live. You could say that if you lived in London. There are tourists flocking to London every day to see the shows, to go to the restaurants, to see the sights. If you live there, you can feel proud to be a Londoner in a great city. It's good to be able to appreciate that, whatever it is, I think. So I think it's just saying that. Not thinking, right, I must appreciate 5 things today. What have I done so far? It's just making it part of your daily routine, just looking out the window and going, God, look at that sky, beautiful.
I think sometimes unexpected things hit you harder than the things that you've kind of planned to enjoy.
Like New Year's Eve is always such a... We've got to have the best night ever tonight. And
no.
You are having fun, aren't you?
Yes, exactly.
Must be.
The worst night of the year. And Christmas as well.
Oh, stop it, Scrooge.
I think the other one is Valentine's Day, isn't it?
That's a bad one as well. All of them are terrible.
Sort of forced enjoyment.
Yeah, I like a bit of
Constitution Day in Spain, that's a bad one too.
And birthdays, you don't even like birthdays.
No birthdays, no.
See, I like all of those things. So it says here on the next article, no one likes a braggart, but it seems you can have a luxury lifestyle without annoying people if you boast about what you've done rather than the stuff that you've bought. Flaunting a fabulous experience, such as a Michelin-starred meal, rather than a designer watch, allows you to convey status while still being liked. That made me laugh.
Yeah. Comprehensively, the only time I've been to Michelin-starred restaurants is they're generally very disappointing.
Oh, really?
Because they're...
Just like Christmas.
They set the bar high.
Yeah.
And is it complacency? Is it just that... Because it's that one large, poor quality, not so special. Oh. But that doesn't mean they're not a lovely experience.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I suppose if I, you know, I have been to some nice restaurants, and I love going to nice restaurants, and I love seeing photographs of other people going to nice restaurants. So if someone puts a post up having done a tasting menu, I'll study it and go, oh, that looks nice.
Do you take a picture of your food?
Absolutely. so I totally get the fact sharing those experiences online.
Do you find you're still liked after doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends how honest people are. But if someone took photos of their new designer watch and put all of that over social media, you would kind of go, well, that's a bit odd.
Isn't that what influencers do the whole time, though?
Yeah, I get. Well, I don't know about a designer watch, but just their general kind of. Yeah, I suppose
it's aspirational. It's all about, you know, look at me, look at me, look at me.
It is, but it sort of makes more sense with experiences. What they're saying here, as opposed to items.
You will discover, and you'll be surprised, that there will be people who follow your experiences, and what they're looking to you to be is a vanguard of saying, this is something I've discovered which is kind of cool and kind of fun, and that's what you do as a communicator. That's how you cause people to buy into what you're thinking about. Nothing. I don't believe that you're probably sponsored by the various places that you will eat. You'll just enjoy talking about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if people get you, they'll almost certainly want us to explore the same things.
Yeah.
Why do you have to share all that? Why do you have to share? I mean, some people like watches, for instance, and they like, you know, because they have a passion for it, you know. Or some people like to go to nice restaurants and Michelin star and everything. But why do you have to share it? Cars are the same, you know. You know, some people. I personally not bothered about cars, but I can understand the people that are really into cars, you know, whether Ferraris and Porsches and that kind of thing. And there's the aspiration because they like it, but you don't need to share it. I mean,
it depends on your job and the reason as to why you're sharing it. I mean, I've got lots of friends on social media, on Facebook, for example, friends and family from around the world, who share photos of them going out for dinner, the wedding, pictures of the kids, all this kind of stuff. And I love to see it because it's a great way of keeping in touch. So it's just from that aspect for the first, just kind of sharing your life of what you're doing, so friends and family from over the other world.
It is the character of social media, though, isn't it? Because pre-Facebook, pre-Instagram, so we were talking about from the mid-90s, you didn't particularly share things, did you? There wasn't that culture to...
No.
You had to get people around your house and show them your photos.
Yeah, exactly.
You did. You showed them your holidays.
There's a lot of... the social media has encouraged people to sort of post things that normally years ago you wouldn't have posted. But the older I get, the less I don't even take pictures with my phone. You know, when I traveled, I used to take pictures of places, you know, when you go to Chicago or whatever, and you take pictures. Now I don't anymore because...
Really?
No,
Why?
because I don't look at them. I don't have social media, so I don't post it, I don't share them, and I don't look at them because I've been there. So now I just don't take them.
Yeah.
You look forward to your birthday.
Yeah.
There is a theory as well about the way social media is kind of fragilizing, as they put it, Gen Z, who are, you know, immersed in it, because all you see on social media is the curated highlights of other people's lives at a time when you're probably not doing something as good as that. You know, you're not sitting in that Michelin-starred restaurant at the time of looking at that. So everything you see is better than what you're doing, which leaves you in a kind of depressed state of fragilization.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely a big deal. But that's why it's important to be selective as to who you follow or who you... Because there's a big thing about young girls, for example, following female influencers who are posting pictures in bikinis and things like that. And the young girls looking at these pictures thinking, well, I don't look like that. I'm never going to look like that. I wish I looked like that. And really feeling bad. So if you're following people that make you feel really bad about yourself, don't follow them. You know,
I mean, I've never understood the concept of social media. You know, I never. Having said that, I'm not the right person to sort of say whether, you know, because when I first saw the first mobile phone, I said, they'll never catch on. And look at us now. And also, the first time I saw David Beckham playing football, I said, oh, he'll never make it as a footballer. So I'm not a very good person.
So we should bet against whatever you do.
I'm terrible with things like that. But I don't
don't put yourself down,
media. I mean, the first time I saw Facebook, I thought, I don't want that. But
that's fine. fine. That is a choice, isn't it?
It's a choice, exactly.
It is a choice, and
but
that's
I still don't
absolutely fine.
understand what is the point of sharing all of these things, you know, whether you've had a meal or you have a watch or a bikini or... Well, not that I have any bikinis, but if I had one...
One of the points is to keep in touch with friends and family around the world. That's one of the points, and that's what I get from some of the things that I do. Another point is to promote yourself or your brand or your business. If you've got, a lot of these influencers, they're selling these bikinis or they're being paid to wear these there's money behind a lot of it. So people are doing it to promote them. It's a business. So there's lots of different reasons why people do it.
That's very interesting. It's something that I've noticed. I quite like Instagram. I quite like the way Instagram sets itself out. But I don't know whether it's the algorithm that sort of looked at my history. But I find it really sad to see how many young girls will have to do things that they're cheap and they're unsavoury and they just look tatty, and it kind of feels like there's a desperation behind this adulation culture, which is looking to garner as much interest as they can by doing things increasingly salacious or outrageous. And that's tragic. And I think that's where social media has let a load of people down. Boys don't tend to do that kind of stuff, but girls seem to feel as though they have to.
A lot of it's about fashion and things. You know, a lot of these female influencers, they'll say, oh, I've gone to Wimbledon, or they've gone to Formula One, or they've gone to a Kylie concert, or all these things that you think, oh, that sounds fun and exciting. But all the photos will just be about them standing in various different positions, various different poses. You don't see an F1 car, you don't see Kylie.
But they're taking a camera crew.
Well, who cares where you are?
They're taking a camera crew with them as well. It's not them taking a photograph themselves.
Oh, no, absolutely.
So it's all very set up.
Gone to see Kylie and you go, oh, fab, and you look at the photos, you don't see Kylie, you just see them standing there in their outfits in different poses, and it's like, well, who cares that you're at Kylie? No one could tell by these pictures.
Well, obviously, from the whole influencer, the use of influencers in marketing, people genuinely do care, and people are paid a lot of money to...
Well, yeah, because of their outfits. That's the whole thing. They'll go earrings by such and such, shoes by such and such.
And the impact of that is they'll sell more.
Yeah.
It's very simple economics.
Yeah.
So if you pay somebody... And the influencers can command quite attractive fees now for doing what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a business. We're going to take another break.
Hannah Murray, TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Men Talk. With me in the studio today is Fraser Sharp, Mark Wilkins and Andreas Gallardo. Somebody agrees with you, Andreas. Sheila from Calahonda has said, fully agree with Andreas on that subject. No need to share. You have it in your mind's eye.
Oh,
there you go.
Someone who agrees with me. That's the first.
She'll be giving you a birthday party.
Exactly. So this headline says, women over 50 are now embracing a midlife glow. Now, I know none of us are women over 50, but there is a bucket list that they talk about here, and I thought it would be interesting to see if men think of bucket list things. Do you have things that you've thought about over the years, or maybe just later in life, that you're like, yes, I need to do that before I die. I need to go there. Have you got like a bucket list in your head that you think of these really important, maybe expensive, extravagant things? Definitely got to do that at some point.
I think I'm ready to die, actually.
Oh, don't! Stop it.
I've had a good run. I've done a lot of good things. What else is there to do out there?
Oh, stop! Come on. Do you not? You don't think of bucket list things, no?
Oh, actually, truthfully, I find as I get older that my bucket list things involve doing things that prove I can still do things that when I was younger, like, cycling up a mountain, for example.
Okay.
Would be on my bucket list. I want to go to Norway and cycle up this thing called the Trollstig and the Troll's Path, which is a really hard cycle route, just to try and reclaim those kind of embers of youth.
Yeah, nice. Prove that you can still do it.
Still got it.
Yeah, nostalgia's an interesting thing, isn't it? Is that there are various things that you probably... I'm sure as you get older, your bucket list changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To some extent.
Although maybe not Fraser's.
No, but maybe that's the point he makes about his bucket list, is that all he's doing is trying to recapture his youth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There must be places you really want to visit that you're like, yeah, that's on my...
I was having this conversation earlier, is that I've got this Marbella dilemma. And my Marbella dilemma is wherever I go on holiday, whatever I go and seek out, is it any better than the place I live in? Now, I don't want this to be...
No, but this is a very good point.
It's a very good point.
People who live here, like us, it's very, very difficult to find somewhere to go. Because where are you going to go?
Somewhere very different to Marbella. You don't seek out a beach holiday,
then
really.
You don't want a beach holiday.
No.
I mean, what's the point of going to the Canaries or Mallorca?
Exactly.
Or, you know...
Yeah, but when you live here, it's great to go to like an old European city, you know.
Yeah.
And something, it's
cities,
kind of like
but...
the opposite with all the culture there. And
Definitely.
People our age would have been to most cities anyway by now.
Really?
But going back to the bucket list, I think we shouldn't have a bucket list. We should have done that.
Just doing it.
Just do it
if
as
you want to
quick
do
as you
it,
can.
do it.
Don't think I want to put it in the bucket list and I'll do it in the future, because you don't know when you're going to kick the bucket.
Yes.
So you have to be ready and not to leave anything behind.
Yeah.
Because you might be closer than you think.
Yeah.
You know.
Carpe diem.
Yeah.
So the
fish of the day.
I think with the Marbella thing, what you're saying, as well as city breaks, there are obviously loads of completely different cultures out there, you know, particularly in Asia, you know, thinking of Japan or China. Obviously, they're massive countries that are very diverse, but just the country and the culture in general is going to be totally different to Marbella and Spain. So, you know, and Vietnam, and, you know, there's so much to see out there.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's why Japan's on my bucket list.
Okay. Yeah.
Very much.
But
so.
you should go there tomorrow.
Okay.
That's my
Just in
advice.
case, Mark.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. So is it all, if you think about bucket list things, would it all be travel related? Because on this list there's things like learn a new language or buy a holiday home.
Okay.
Or things like that. It's not all travel.
Or not sleeping with Elle Macpherson then.
That's not on this list, but it can be on yours.
It could be.
It could be.
Given a sort of a... I think on that list was the things like the Northern Lights and stuff like that. And yeah, I've not seen them, but yes, I'd like to see them. I suppose it's... the idea is, God willing, the older you get, perhaps more time you get to do a variety, you get a freedom to do a variety of things. Then creating a bucket list is not a bad idea, and travel is kind of I enjoy travelling.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
I mean, it's money, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's it. Depends
Time
on
and money.
Time and money.
Know, there's a lot of things that a lot of people would like to do.
Yeah.
But they don't do it now because they don't have the time or they don't have the money to do it. A lot of people would like to go to Japan for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't have the money to sort of travel to Japan. Japan is an expensive place and everything else.
Exactly.
So you keep putting it off until better times come. But then you have a tax bill, and then you can't go to Japan because you have to pay the tax man.
That's the sad reality of life, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's better not to have a bucket list.
Otherwise, you just get depressed that you can't do what's on it.
Exactly. So
do you think taxmen have bucket lists? Because they're obviously the ones who get most of it from us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they'll have at least enough time and money to do whatever they want, where we don't.
Yes, probably.
I think it's a really interesting comment you make about the whole cultural differences between what we know and what we don't know, and the idea of arriving somewhere. There's a very good photograph from the 1960s of a model, I can't remember her name, Jean Shrimpton or somebody. She was in a British Airways advert, and she was in Hong Kong, and she was very tall and quite sort of statuesque, and she's surrounded by a lot of smaller people, shorter people with dark hair, and it just she stood out as a sort of icon in this kind of strange mass that was all reasonably similar looking people. And I think the idea of, I've heard this from people saying in particularly not Tokyo but other parts of Japan, is you can feel so isolated. It's probably very good for you, because it causes you to, resource yourself in a particular way and try and work out what your strength of spirit is. But I think the idea of going somewhere that's fundamentally different, that's quite attractive.
Definitely.
And it's also getting harder and harder to find culturally different places. Everything is kind of so homogenized, isn't it? And where it's not, you've got like translators and apps to kind of ease the pain of it. And so, I think Japan would strike me as being a real cultural experience.
Yeah. I'm sure it was Japan that they were in this year's Race Across the World. Do you watch that? Because that's fantastic, isn't it? No, it couldn't have been Japan because they ended up in India. It was China, wasn't it? China. And yeah, a lot of the signs are just in Chinese. There's no English translation. So it's not just a different language, but totally different alphabet. So you look at these symbols and have absolutely no clue what they mean. And the contestants are constantly saying, do you speak English? How do we get to such and such? And they're just looked at blankly. And that was a real challenge, when you're in these places that aren't the major cities.
Would you like to do that?
I'd love to, but you have to be a UK resident. Otherwise, we totally would. Yeah, definitely. That would be like my dream to do like a travel race competition. Yeah.
And this was a message from the Tourist Board of Japan.
Oh, it looks fab. There's an article about emojis. We discussed this on Women Talk last week, and I thought I'd keep it to see what you guys think about emojis. Do you use them a lot at all? You have like a few favourites. How do you feel about emojis in text messages and things?
I think with the family we do it the whole time, a variety of different ones, including the little brown pyramid, which we all love. I think they're great.
Yeah.
They're shorthand for a whole different series of expressions. And there's no real reason to do it apart from when you're on a long flight, you've got nothing else to do. But scroll through all the different sorts of emojis that there are.
There's loads,
and there's a
isn't there?
huge amount of choice.
Yeah.
and even if you search your emojis and you get suggestions for, angry or sad or happy or hungry.
Yeah.
Why not? It's just good fun.
Bit of fun.
I'm frightened of them because I have middle-aged eyes and I can't see my phone properly without glasses. So if I'm out and about and I want to send an emoji, it's kind of like, it's
Hit and miss.
I could be sending something quite offensive and getting
You could be sending anything.
Yeah. It's also understood because there's all these hidden meanings that I wasn't aware of.
The aubergine.
Yeah, the aubergine,
Oh,
yes. But also the different coloured hearts. I just thought they were pretty colours, but there are meanings behind the different hearts.
I'm a Chelsea fan. I use the blue heart the whole time.
Yeah.
Does it mean something else?
It certainly doesn't mean I love Chelsea.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's gone very quiet in here.
Is that why no one read that?
Because they're going to win that cup on Sunday, aren't they? Well, yes.
There was another prediction of mine that went wrong. And it was when I first saw the emojis, I thought this will be the death of language. People will not type anymore.
Yeah.
They'll just use
Pictures.
these little, sort of drawings, and the language will disappear. That hasn't happened, and what's happened is that I use them as well.
There you go.
Yeah,
But am I right in
my
saying-
first reaction was, "Oh my God,
This is
really?
terrible,
I mean, this
yeah.
is the route we're taking."
Am I right in saying that the majority of Chinese script is descriptive? It's not alphabetical. So a tree looks like a tree in Chinese
I
script.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's not. Therefore, it's sort of they
Like a
invented
picture.
emojis.
Okay.
Is that right? I didn't know
believe
that.
so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in. I'll have to look that up. So yes, we all love an emoji, basically. We better take the last ad break.
Hannah Murray, TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the last part of today's Men Talk. With me in the studio today is Fraser Sharp, Mark Wilkins and Andreas Gallardo. This article says that babies born to fathers aged 60 and over contributed to the first rise in the number of births since 2021. Can you imagine being a father at 60, as in a new dad? Is it something you'd consider?
Look, that is a pet hate for me. That is so irresponsible and so unfair to the child that I think the people who do it are selfish and real bad people,
Wow, don't hold back.
No, I'm not holding back because I really hate that. They do it to... for themselves and not thinking about the child. My parents were old parents, and I hated that when I was a kid. And when I see people even older, there was no IVF in those days or anything.
Yeah.
So, but I really traumatized my childhood that. And when I see people doing it because they actually want to, because I was an accident, I thinking, you don't know what you're doing to that kid. You know what? Why? Just to satisfy yourself, So, sorry, I'm not holding back.
Okay.
I really hate that. So there
Fair
you go.
enough.
That's my point.
I reckon some, not all the time, but some of the time it happens when you have a couple who get together and it's an older man and a younger woman. and they just so happen to fall in love, and she is more of the age of having children and wants to have children, and he is that much older, and he's happy to do it because he loves her and it's what she wants. That you see that happening more than, I mean, not many women who are 60 are giving birth, let's be honest. So
interestingly, I had exactly the same reaction when I read about that mother who had an IVF implant, and she was already in her late 50s, and I thought exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, that kid, when she's 75,
if she gets to 75, I mean, that's
but I mean, no kid wants to have a granddad for a dad, you know. When they go to school, pick them up from school and everything. I mean, it's not. It's for me, it's not right. I wouldn't do it.
I know what you mean.
And it's not, but mainly because it's not fair on the kid, you know.
Yeah.
I think parenting takes a lot of energy. You know, you need to be able to play with the kids, pick them up, you know, move around with them, and you can't do that as you get older. And I just think it's, as you say, not fair.
You don't want to be going. I think to go into parenthood thinking hopefully we're still alive when our child gets married is not a great start.
Yeah, exactly.
I think also on a selfish note as well, it's nice to have your kids, raise them, and then
have a life afterwards.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know,
if you have it late, that will never happen. Yeah, for sure.
What's interesting, read it again, because doesn't it say it's the growth statistic? So it's obvious.
Yeah, there were 594,677 live births in 2024, which has gone up from 2023, but is particularly with older men. Legendary actor Al Pacino became a father again in 2023 at the age of 83.
I know. I mean, Ronnie Wood as well, from the Rolling Stones as well. And, Mick Jagger. I mean, that kind of thing, it makes me sick. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you won't change my mind.
Fair enough.
You can defend it if you want. And
I agree. I'm just not so opinionated about it.
Didn't Picasso have a child in his 90s?
Really?
Extraordinary.
Really?
But see, this is the
I
thing.
didn't know that.
But she would have been, 30 or something? You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a kind of odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
30-year-old and
Well, if Picasso did it, that's all right then.
Can't be that bad. It's all right for Picasso. It's all right for me. We have 3 minutes left. Queuing. It's as British as afternoon tea, maypole dancing or Sunday roast, but research suggests that queuing is under threat. Gen Z are increasingly shunning queue etiquette, with half believing pushing in is acceptable.
Well, because they are impatient.
Yes, they want everything now.
Everything has to be instant. So queuing is something that holds them back.
Takes too much
I can
time.
understand that. Yeah.
Do you think it's okay, though?
No, it's not okay.
No.
I can understand why they're so impatient, because, they get everything so quickly.
So I was in a situation last night. Sometimes queues aren't clear. So I went to a bar, and there was someone in front of me being served, and there was a queue on the left-hand side of only about 5 people. So I assumed they were in the queue for the person serving them, and I went behind just this one person being served and thought, well, if I stand here, I'll get served quicker than if I stand behind this queue of 5 people. And then just before I got served, I saw people looking at me, and I thought, was that the one queue that you're supposed to stand? And it filters to both barmen, depending, and because there aren't rules, are there?
Did anybody say anything?
Nobody did. No, and I tried not to make eye contact.
Yeah, well,
but people then formed a queue behind me.
You cannot take the Spanish queues as the norm.
British. No, they're different.
They're different,
Yes.
But when you have 2 machines, for instance, I tend to go in the middle to see which machine goes first.
Well, there you go. See,
and I think that's the right thing to do.
Right.
But once someone complained, and they said, I was waiting for that one. I said, well, I was waiting for both. And there was a little bit of a, who's right, who's wrong here.
Exactly.
There is a lovely custom, which I think to all the English language customs out there, is when you're in Mercadona and you've got 20 items in your basket and you put them on the conveyor belt and the person behind you arrives with just a can of beer, is to say to them, do you want to go ahead of me?
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Go do that.
And it's such a nice custom.
Yeah.
Because you can also find yourself, benefiting
in the situation
from it.
yourself. Absolutely.
Exactly. But I really like that. So I think we're... maybe it's just a British thing, but we're a bit too precious about queuing. Because we probably just do it out of some
Well, there was
but
a
we did that in
comedy...
Empire. So,
Oh, God.
I mean, I guess
Exactly what it is.
There was a comedy
The pink
sketch
bits
years
on the
ago of someone that just stood in the middle of a pavement and with a sign up saying queue here, and within 20 minutes there was a queue. Nobody knew what they were queuing
Did you see it?
That's brilliant.
Did you see it at Glastonbury?
Oh, okay.
You see it at Glastonbury, the guy holding up the flag that says "Ban all the flags."
Oh, brilliant. I didn't actually. That's really clever. Well, we are at the end of the programme. Thank you all very much for coming in today. Thank you, Fraser. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Andreas.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks for having us.
And Howard Brereton is next with Spain Today. I'm actually not here until Wednesday. I'm off to see Kylie on Monday, so I'll see you Wednesday.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.